Come around? Yeah, come around.
Thank you. Sure.
Stand behind him if you all don't mind. Okay. TV3 is coming in. Hold on.
All right. We'll give TV
What are you doing?
a minute.
I don't know what I'm doing.
We'll give the link. How far away is she? Okay.
I'm not saying what I'm saying.
So happy for this young man. You just don't know. Now you got to keep on getting up out your
Excuse me, Penny. Tell her. Penny. A few.
We appreciate you guys. Everybody made it in?
That's good.
Anybody else? All right. Well, first off, let me thank you so much for being here today. That I think by now you probably guessed why I've asked you to be here. So I think the better question is, why are we doing this here instead of over at City Hall? I'm here today to tell you who I am, where I'm from, who I'm with, what I believe, and why I want to be your next mayor of Jackson. And who I am isn't at City Hall. Where I'm from isn't at City Hall. What I believe, who I'm with, what we want to do to change this city isn't based at City Hall. It's based in places like this. A small business, a family-owned business, something that's been in Jackson for generations and has been built through love and community and service. Who I am and what I believe in, it's based in neighborhoods like this. And I want to tell you, the most important thing you need to know about me is that I'm a builder. I build things. I build places. I build communities. This building, 3 years ago, was empty. It had been empty for years. But I saw something here. And instead of trying to go somewhere else, I put down roots and I found a local contractor, Mr. Greg Odom, right there. And we decided to build something here and change a neighborhood in Jackson by our presence, our time, our work. I'm proud of this neighborhood because this neighborhood looks different than it did just a couple of years ago. And it's not just because of me, but it's because all my life I've been around people who build things in this city. That I look around this room and I see some of the people who have been building things in Jackson for decades. I see Dr. Aaron Shirley, who gave me one of my first jobs, working at the medical mall, helping people with diabetes, testing to see whether or not they had feeling in their feet. And believe me, there's no more thankless job. But Dr. Shirley is a builder in this community. All his life, he has built things. And all my life, I've been around and under people like Dr. Shirley and learned how to build things. He's with his wife, Ollie Shirley, other Dr. Shirley. She's also a builder. She's one of the people that built JPS into such a quality school system, it was able to send a public school kid like me to Harvard and Stanford. I wanted you to be here instead of over at City Hall so you could see the builders of Jackson. Because that's who's going to change Jackson, is the people who are committed to building things. And it's not only people like the Shirleys or Rosie Pridgeon over there who helped build our school for the blind and deaf to make it one of the best schools for the blind and deaf in the country. I'm here and I'm running for this position because I'm here to tell you, there's a new generation in Jackson who builds things too and have not gotten a chance to be represented over us. And part of what I wanted to do today is try to introduce some of the different people from the older generation that build things in Jackson to the younger generation that build things in Jackson, because we are going to keep Jackson moving forward. I look around this room, I see someone like Rob Nichols, someone more popularly known as DJ Scrap Dirty, a 1997 graduate of JSU. In 2002, he started a business. He runs a group called Violator All-Star DJs. They've got representatives all over the country. He could be anywhere on earth right now. He could be in New York, he could be in Chicago. He's here, and he's someone who builds things. And people want to know what I've done and what I do. I help people like him better do the things that he dreams of doing in this city. That he's someone who said, instead of trying to go off and build something new, let's take over parts of the Midtown neighborhood and build studios and bring people in. And you can go, just like you can come to Priester Law Firm and see what my business has been built and done, you can go to his business and see what he's built and done. You can see people like Whitney Grant over there. Whitney Grant and I have started arts festivals that take place on Highway 80 and in the Midtown neighborhood. We have worked to reclaim warehouses and turn them into spaces where people can build their own businesses, have creative business incubators. People like Whitney are why I'm running. People who build things in our city. We have so many things to deal with in Jackson. But when I look around this room and I see all of the people who know how to build lined up to keep growing our city, I get inspired. I want to run because I get angry at how our city doesn't help people that want to build up things. I get angry because when I say build, I've been talking about buildings, I've been talking about communities and neighborhoods, But everyone has their own thing that they're trying to build. Whether it's a home out in Presidential Hills. There are grandmothers out there right now that have put their whole life, and what they built was a home. And because the city of Jackson can't get its act together about infrastructure, every time it rains like today, they lose a little bit more of what they built, of the home they built. I am tired of the lack of attention of detail we pay in this city. I'm tired of us not being able to connect the dots and do things right. We, over the last 8 months, have gotten some momentum because it's a new day where when we have problems like we're currently going through with HUD, where we've had to pay back millions of dollars to the federal government because we didn't properly manage our money in the past. And we were giving money to people who didn't deserve it, or we were giving money to people that didn't track what they did so we could verify and follow the federal guidelines. Instead of holding back, instead of letting other people deal with the problem, I went to HUD. I went to personally and developed a relationship to learn what were we doing wrong, what can we do different, what can we do better. So today, we finally can start spending this federal money for things that really build up our neighborhoods again. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We've got difficult problems. We all know our problems. We've got infrastructure, crime, schools. You know, part of the reason I wanted you to be here today is because I know that because we built a good public school system before, we can build it again. Yes. But I make a commitment to you about the problems we face. I have the courage, I have the dedication to spend the time necessary to answer these tough questions intelligently and correctly the first time. I promise to use all the people you see up here today going forward, because I believe that the Jackson we want is going to be built by the people you see here. So on April 8th, I ask for your prayers, and I ask for your vote for Melvin Priester Jr., Mayor of Jackson. There are refreshments in the other room, but before we do that, I'd just like to recognize Pastor Day, who's here, that he's another person who, by his choices and decisions, has shored up neighborhoods in the city of Jackson. And I appreciate that. I just want to say thank you for being here. All right, thank you very much.
That's a question.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people, the public candidates, have talked about a responsibility to carry on Chokwe Lumumba's legacy. Do you feel that responsibility, or do you believe it's time for a whole new start?
I think it's time. Look, no one can be Chokwe Lumumba. We lost an amazing leader. But Chokwe left plans, many of which I look forward to following. But I believe that what we have to do is to continue just analyzing everything, pushing things forward, that we can't be Chokwe. We can most certainly follow a lot of his plans, a lot of them that I'm particularly excited to follow. For example, we want to have meaningful equality laws. He was pushing to have a Human Rights Commission. I think that's something we must keep pushing to do.
You've been on the council only 8 months, and you talk about the huge problems that the city faces. Do you have the experience to come in after only being on the council 8 months to take on these huge challenges?
I absolutely believe that the issue isn't age or how long you've been doing something, because a lot of people confuse doing something for a long time with doing something well.
prompted you to want to do this? As he said, you are young, you may be bringing new ideas, but what do you think you bring to the office, and what do you think pushed you to go ahead and make that decision?
I get angry when I look at how we spend millions of dollars trying to do things in Jackson, and we ignore the people like you see around here that don't get the assistance and help. I think that we have a group of people in Jackson that have been unrepresented. The people that love this city, who have been in this city, and aren't getting things done for them. And that's why I want to run. I think about the people who live off of Highway 80, and the lack of service and progress that we've made focusing on them. That we chase the wrong things in Jackson often. And so that's why it's so important for me. I think about Ferris Street and how we've spent millions of dollars there and there's not a thing open. But I go to Midtown that's gotten little to no money from the city of Jackson, and I look at what people like Rob have done, people like these two gentlemen right here have done over in Midtown, and there are businesses open, there are people doing things, and so I'm trying to close the gap between the people who get things done in Jackson, who are proud of Jackson, and the city. Because right now I think there's a humongous gap.
Councilman,
Yes, sir.
right now you're the acting president for the council. I know last year in municipal elections, then President Frank Blanson stepped down just for make sure everything was okay. Do you plan on stepping down from that position?
I don't think so. We have had, I think, one of the most closely working councils we've ever had in the city of Jackson. That one of the things you talk about just being 8 months, in the 8 months you've seen us get along. You haven't seen us fussing and fighting, ripping and roaring. We've got one of the best councils the city has ever had. We are committed to making sure that we do this process in a dignified manner that will make the city proud.
We're having a debate April 4th. We're having a debate April 4th. Will you take part in that debate, and do you think all the candidates who run for mayor should debate?
At this point, it would be easier to list people in Jackson that aren't running than what it is. So I'm committed to participating in debates, but can I say for the other 200, 300 people that are running? I don't know. All right, well, we've got some refreshments in the other room. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
If you haven't signed the petition, I need you to please